Under my administration, we're fighting against the lobbyists, the special interests, and the corrupt Washington politics. After years of rebuilding foreign countries, of which a lot of people partake in the cost of rebuilding those foreign countries, we are finally rebuilding our country. We fight to build their borders, but we don't fight and spend no money to build our borders. Figure that one out. We're fighting, and we're finally putting America first. And remember the last time I did this, and this started 2.5 years ago when I just started, people were not saying Merry Christmas anymore. The big store chains weren't saying Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. They weren't doing it. They weren't saying Merry Christmas. Now they're saying Merry Christmas again. To bring back our jobs, we're cracking down on unfair trade. We want trade deals that are fair and, by the way, reciprocal. And we love our farmers. We're taking care of our farmers. And we love our factory workers. We love our workers. For decades, American presidents responded to foreign cheating on trade. Cheating. There's no other word for it. Cheating. They responded with silence. They didn't do anything. They were silent. Silencio. Let's not rock the boat. Oh, that's fine. We have a $100 billion trade deficit with Mexico. Think of it. $100 billion trade deficit a year with Mexico. We have a trade deficit with almost every country in the world. We're changing that around rapidly. We racked up trillions of dollars in trade deficits, also known as losses, while other countries stole our factories, stole our plants, stole our wealth, and stole our jobs. But America's long silence is over. And you see what's happening. Car companies are coming back into the United States. They're moving back in. Chrysler just announced. Japan is building big ones. We're expanding our plants. And I put tariffs on steel, and I put tariffs on aluminum, and United States Steel just announced that they're expanding their factories and they're building plants, and we're going to start making steel and aluminum again. America is respected again. Different ball game. Under my administration, we kept another important promise when we put a great new justice on the United States Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch. And next week, after the promises of many administrations and presidents, and then they never did it. They campaigned, they promised, they never did it. Next week, we will finally open the American Embassy in Jerusalem. Oh, I could tell you so many of those stories, but I won't I won't tell you anymore. We have to save some. We only have about 1,000 left. Among the many grave national security blunders of the previous administration, one of the world's worst was the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. A deal that would allow Iran to go right to the brink of nuclear weapons and ultimately, very quickly, have a nuclear weapon. And by the way, other countries in the Middle East who do have money, all of a sudden, would be looking all over the place for nuclear weapons. That was going to force a disaster. The deal also gave the regime billions of dollars. How about this? $150 billion. And $1.8 billion in green. $1.8 billion in cash, which would be used to spread bedlam and death and destruction all over the Middle East. They're all over the Middle East. And with all of that being said, who knows? Because we're putting the harshest, strongest, most stringent sanctions on Iran. And I hope to be able to make a deal with them. A good deal, a fair deal, a good deal for them, better for them, better for them. But we cannot allow them to have nuclear weapons. We must be able to go to a site and check that site. We have to be able to go into their military bases to see whether or not they're cheating. Now, of course, we're all sure they're not cheating, but just in case. The Iran deal was one of the most embarrassing agreements the United States has ever entered into. You remember the 10 sailors who were humiliated in front of the world for no reason whatsoever. But once again, Democrat Joe Donnelly served his liberal handlers in Washington, not the great people of Indiana that I know so well. He voted to save the deal 4 times. But we saved the deal no longer.